In here, I've got a £200 pair of shoes that I got for £15. Well, of course, there's a catch. The catch is quite simply that they look like they were found in a dumpster. They looked awful, but they are possibly the most honest pair of shoes I have ever bought. They're on eBay. The person selling them made absolutely no attempt whatsoever to make them look better. Normally, you'll get somebody who sort of makes the nice lighting and they'll angle them in a way that makes them look more attractive. No, this one was, here's my shoes. Do you want to buy them? They're £15. I love that honesty. Incidentally, if you've seen the film The Kingsman, where Colin Firth's character is teaching Taron Egerton's character about being a gentleman and refinement and all of that sort of thing, and he uses the expression, when you buy shoes, Oxfords, never Brogues. Well, this is absolute rubbish because these happen to be a pair of Oxfords. They are also a pair of Brogues. Oxfords and Brogues are not mutually exclusive. Allow me to explain. What he perhaps meant was Oxfords, never Derbies. That's a different matter. Now, Oxfords have a lacing like that, where it comes to a point at the bottom. If you can see that, it comes to a point at the bottom, and it's what's called a closed lacing, because it's closed. That is a Derby. A Derby has two flaps, and that's what's called an open lacing. And if I loosen that off, you can see it's open lacing. Now, these are both Brogues. Brogues refer to that pattern on the front of the shoe and around the side, and that's a wingtip. That's a Brogue. So, Oxfords never Brogues means absolutely nothing. But it just goes to show, when somebody speaks with authority on a film with Colin Firth's character and charisma, you believe it. Anyway, so what are we going to do? We're going to do what we always do. We're going to put one to the side and we're going to work on the other one. Now, I've got my little box of tricks here. I'm going to try and get rid of the creasing. There's bits where the coating has flaked off and it needs to be corrected with the colour, a few places. So I'm going to use some black leather dye on that. Beeswax, universal leather balm. Basically, bring them back to life using my usual techniques. And everything I use today, I'm going to list in the description, so you don't need to make notes as we go along. So let's get started. Laces out, shoe tree in. Straight away, you can see that that's pressed out a lot of the creases, but the creases still remain. And we're going to treat that today with something different. Normally, I would be ironing it with my steam iron, but I want to show you a different technique today. And it's going to be isopropyl alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and water in about a 50-50 mixture. This is just my water spray. If I had another spray bottle free, I would use that because a spray bottle is ideal. But what we're going to do here is just get a dab of the 50-50 mixture and rub it all over the shoe and concentrate around the creases. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to penetrate into the fibres and it's going to relax the leather and help to release the creases. Incidentally, I could tell very early on that these haven't been used for a while. The leather's very dry and stiff. So to help it along the way, once I've got this done, I'm going to give it some heat. Again, to help it to relax the leather fibres and let the creases fall out naturally. This is why the shoe tree is so vital, because that's going to give the shoe its structure. It has something to push against. So, and the reason we use alcohol evaporates very quickly. It also has a tendency to dry out leather. So when you use alcohol of any sort, you then need to go in with some conditioner because you don't want to allow the leather fibers to dry out. Now I'm going to use a heat gun, but you could easily use a hairdryer. There's an argument to say a hairdryer would be better because the heat is less fierce, but we'll go with a heat gun. Right, now that's lovely and warm. Now what that's done, the heat itself has allowed the leather to expand and relax. And while it's still warm, I'm going to use my universal leather balm. I've done a video about how to make this for yourself. I don't sell it at the moment, but I know a lot of people are asking when am I going to sell it. I have no plans at the moment to sell it, although I'm very tempted because a lot of people are asking when they see how effective it is and the results and so on. But the point is, I want the channel to be about education and doing things for yourself. It's not about buying products. It's about making them and coming up with solutions for yourself, understanding the problem and then creating the solution. I get that not everybody's got time to do that, and this is my sort of hobby. Yeah, so I may at some point make it commercially available, but it's not at the moment. Just a little dab more into the creases. And then I'm going to just give it another blast with the heat. This will allow the balm to soak in. Next is going to be the beeswax. This is something you would do once, maybe twice a year, to give the leather really deep conditioning. This weatherproofs it. It allows it to stay flexible. It's a really good treatment, but as I say, it's not something you do all the time. It's just as a one-off fix for particularly dry leather. So I've got my beeswax. So all it is, beeswax pellets melting in my wax melter, and we'll just take a dab of that and put it all over the front of the shoe and around the toe cap. And as you can see, when it comes into contact with the leather, which is cooler than the wax, it forms this, it starts to solidify and makes the white film that you can see. That's fine, that's exactly what we want. We basically just want to cover the shoe in wax and know that it's all covered, ready for the next phase. And again, just a second pass over the creasing itself. Back with the heat gun. Now I'm going to do this twice. If you're doing it properly, you would do it until the leather can't absorb any more wax. But that would make sure that the leather is properly waxed. Right, 2 coats of that should be enough for this demonstration. Wipe off any excess. And then we're going to start with the colour. So the colour I'm using is Phoebing's black leather dye. It's a great, they do some great leather products. Even though the rest of the shoe is perfectly fine, I'm just going to give it a coat all over, just so that it's uniform. But there's only really one or two spots that actually need the dye. But what this does, if you give it a coat that's uniform over the whole shoe, then it means that each product that you apply is interacting with the same base layer. You might find that if you only put the beeswax in one place, you only put the leather balm in one place, or you only put the dye in one place, that the layer that goes on top of it, which could be shoe cream or the wax polish, it might not take equally in both areas. So if you do things equally over the whole shoe, then you're going to make sure that each layer behaves the same. Now, I would normally let this dry naturally, but for the sake of speed, I'm just going to cheat it a little bit with the heat gun to dry it out so I can do the next layer of, the next coat of dye. But I'm going to do this further away. I don't want it to get too hot. Okay, second coat of dye. So you can see the effect of the dye. The dye has just evened out the whole surface of the shoe, of the leather. Now that I've got to this stage, I wish I'd done it a little bit sooner, but now that I've got to this stage, I can see a slight issue that's going to need some leather binder. This helps with cracks in the leather that have become more obvious as the process has gone on. I thought we might get away without using this, but the cracks here. So you use a sponge or a cloth to apply leather binder, and this penetrates the leather again, and it helps to smooth out the cracks. Now, again, you would let this dry naturally, but I'm going to give it a bit of a helping hand. The reason I'm doing this, by the way, the reason I'm doing this with more urgency today is I have a lot of comments from people saying, I've watched your techniques and you say, leave this for an hour, do this and leave it overnight. And then by the time you finish, it's taking you 3 days to polish a pair of shoes. I get it. I get it. So today I'm trying to do it in one continuous 20-minute or so, 30-minute session that will work for you. And again, we'll just give it one more coat with the leather binder. But what I want you to get from this, if anything, from my shoe repair, shoe restoration videos, is there's not a one-size-fits-all solution to getting your shoes back to not a new condition, but a very wearable condition, or spotting a bargain and thinking, how would I fix that? There are different solutions depending on the nature of the problem in the first place. Quick blast. If I was going down a different route, I might also use sandpaper on the cracks and on the creases to get a perfectly smooth finish. It depends just how much effort you want to take, and I'll do that in a different video. But these I think can be brought back from the brink without the need for sanding the leather down. So now we're going to use a quick dab of Saphir Pate de Luxe to bring the colour back. And there we are. I've just checked the clock. Unedited, that was 40 minutes, start to finish. Now, obviously, there was lots of processes and things involved that would be once a year, twice a year procedures. But the point is, it's about showing you what you can do with something that's £15 and turning it back into something that's close to £200. It's not perfect. It's not, you know, you wouldn't mistake it for a brand new shoe on close inspection, but at least it no longer looks like it's been fished out of a dumpster. If you have any questions or comments about any of the processes or products that you've seen today, please drop them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer. But until next time, take care. I'll see you very soon.